Hello, I am Captain Rodney E. Brooks of the United States Air Force, and I'm honored to make this video for Mr. Zachary Taylor. I was originally born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I went to the University of Tennessee for a few years before deciding to enlist in the Air Force in 2006. On enlisting in the Air Force, I became a Korean cryptolinguist, where I learned Korean in Monterey, California for about a year and a half. And from there, I went to the United States Air Force Academy Prep School and eventually graduated from the Academy in 2012. Upon graduation, I became a MQ-1 and MQ-9 RPA pilot. I recently separated from active duty in October of last year, and I crossed over to United States Air Force Reserves, where I continue to fly MQ-9s in New Mexico. Currently, in the civilian sector, I'm actually transitioning from the RPA field into the cybersecurity field. Becoming a pilot as a young child was never really a strong desire of mine, but I definitely love video games and all things that had to do with the leading edge of technology. So really drones was kind of right up my alley. And it's actually funny, I kind of saw the ad in a video game magazine in 2005 that I just kind of drew myself to this field like, hey, this is definitely something I want to do with my life. I just felt like it was going to be future-proof, definitely going to have me job stability, and just something I was going to enjoy showing up to work every day and getting paid for, which I definitely have in the past 10 years. The training pipeline to become a RPA pilot in the Air Force was about 2 years. It involved with me first actually having manned flight training and the Diamond, the DA-20 in Pueblo, Colorado, where I'd acquire about 40 hours and actually solo just to show that I have the basic aviation skills and good airmanship. From there, I had to learn on a simulator instrument flying for the T6 in San Antonio. Did that about 3 or 5 months, and before going to Holloman Air Force Base, which is the premier schoolhouse for all RPA training in Air Force, where I spent about 4 to 5 months just learning the basics of MQ-1 flying. From there, I went to Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico, where I had to become mission qualified, which took about another 3 months before I actually started flying on the line. And day one on the line involves me being a pilot in command. So from day one, I can be involved with a strike or a mission or a flyover or any combat support, which is really cool. I initially flew the MQ-1 Predator aircraft for the military Air Force, where I played more of a support role, could also be involved with certain attacks or engagements or any combat support. But basically that plane was more configured for a just good ISR platform. In 2016, I was upgraded to the MQ-9 aircraft, which is more of a attack ISR platform, which means that we are geared towards being more of a attack things, but we also have the capability to collect intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. I'm not really an expert at this, but I can just give my reasons why I believe the military really loves to use drones instead of just solely manned platforms. And I can break it down to 3 things, which I believe is cost, loader time, or you say / footprint, and obviously the risk to manned life. Cost, so some of your fighter platforms can reach up to $100 million, where your average drone or RPA in the Air Force can be around about 15 million. Still pricey, but obviously something the Air Force can definitely afford to take more losses on. Obviously too, there's obviously more risk that we can accept since there is no actual man in the aircraft. So we can basically go a lot of places where manned platforms can't go. And obviously the loader time. So you have platforms that literally we can support watch a mission for over 24 hours, get fairly gassed up, and obviously continue that 24/7 ISR coverage that manned platforms are just unable to achieve. Okay, already mentioned some of the pros of using RPAs or drones in the military over manned platforms, but some of the cons you could think about is obviously the threat deterrence or threat avoidance. We don't really do so great against any anti-air platforms. Also, just basically the speed of arriving to any mission areas. Obviously, we're just due to our limitations of our engine and things like that. We don't travel the same speeds as platforms such as fighters or any of your jet engine platforms. Also, there's basically just a lot of moving parts to deal with RPA. So it's not just your platform, your operators, but you have a lot of intel analysts. You have your satellite operators that all have to be in coordination in order for RPA missions to be successful. I believe unmanned aircraft is basically best for surveillance due to the high fidelity of the equipment and the sensitive camera and also other collections equipment that we have on our aircraft. Also, I think we have just definitely due to our loader times, basically provide support of 24/7 ISR where we're not limited by the fuel. Obviously, too, when we have a number of platforms to basically swap each other out for missions, I think definitely is a reason why I think unmanned is definitely better for surveillance than manned aircraft. Just for any advice that I would give to any of the young generation who are interested in joining the military or especially military aviation, is that obviously I think the military gives everyone a great foundation in life, no matter what your background may be. Whether you're poor or rich, doesn't matter what happens before military training. I think it gives everyone a good solid footing, just give them the skills that they need in life to have at least a semi-successful life or career. I also believe the military provides a lot of growth because it introduces you to a lot of diversity perspectives. I think it also gives you the confidence that you need to navigate life. Military aviation involves a lot of rigorous training, but it's definitely worth it in the end. You're expected to seek excellence in all you do, which is a core value of the Air Force, along with integrity first and service before self. But as long as you apply yourself and seek assistance as much as you can, anyone can make it through this program, and you have a career that definitely won't be boring, won't be your 9-to-5 office thing if that's something that you're not interested in. And it definitely is going to give you a high purpose in life. So I would recommend it to anyone. And there are a lot of different avenues to join the military, also join military aviation. The path that I chose, obviously the Air Force Academy, but obviously something like Zach is doing too, pursuing aviation on your own time, getting as many licenses as you can, starting with your private, instrument, commercial, definitely will set you up to be more successful if you apply to any OTS program, officer training, tech school programs and things like that. So definitely, it's definitely doable, achievable, but definitely something you're gonna have to put a lot of work in now in order to achieve it.